This is Ginger, and I am talking to Mason Douglas, who has a new single called I Miss America, and I'm so here for it. Masons, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us and tell us about yourself and about this song.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and let me chat here with you. Yeah. Well, I mean, mainly it's about the song there. I'm Tucson. Is where I grew up, Tucson, Arizona. Air Force brat, Air Force ideals, fighter pilot mentality was in my household all the time. So it's kind of where I'm coming from. I've never served myself, so music is my passion, and but I still have those all those kind of ideals hanging out in my blood, and just I can't escape them. And everything that kind of hits the public is always a little bit tinged red, white, and blue, which I don't mind at all. But which brings us to I Miss America. This is that song I'm super proud of. I wrote it with my buddy Clarence J. You've heard a bunch of his stuff out on the airwaves, and we got together. We were just talking about kind of the world we're living, we're having to raise our kids in, and
Right.
and I had this title sitting around. It was just called Miss America, and I wanted people to think it was about a
Like the
pretty
pageant.
girl who should be in a pageant. Yeah, and but the true heart of it was, man, I miss America, the way it used to be, what I kind of the perception what I grew up in, where everybody was talking, and we were more worried about who was across the sea or across the border rather than infighting within our own parties, and almost brewing civil war within our own states. And we're just kind of like, you know what, let's write a song addressing that. We made sure that we didn't want to swing either way. Everybody's going to get what they want to get out of it, but we're not trying to change anybody's minds about the way they think or what they think. What we're trying to do with this song is simply saying we need to talk. And the first lines of the chorus absolutely just come through. I hope everybody's getting those loud and clear. They say, I miss the old days when we came together and we'd all say, let's make it better. And I think we all
Yeah.
remember a time at some point in our life when that happened, or conversations we've had, or people we can relate to with that. We've got a bit far from that. We have new generations coming in who are lacking a little bit of pride in America. We have, again, sensational headlines and legacy media who's just kind of steering things their own way rather than enforcing us to just talk to each other. So that's where the song comes in. We're trying to spread this message: less fighting, more uniting, more of kind of a movement. Hopefully get to the stage of movement where we've got a lot of views. We're approaching 1 million total views on all socials, so we're getting there to viral status in certain aspects. But we just want as many people listening, sharing, commenting, and laying their ears on it as possible.
And I will preface this, although I am born and bred Texan, super proud because the Texas Rangers won the World Series.
Hey,
Um,
congratulations.
yeah, although that's not the point. But I'm not a country fan. And I will say that because, like, if you give me some George Strait, Clint Black, you give me some Hank Williams Senior, like you give me some like real country, I'm good. And even some Keith Urban, some Blake Shelton. I mean, like, but country music does it's the same thing as America. America seems to just mean citizenship to most people, especially younger people. And same thing with country, people, country is this big label, especially if they don't make it somewhere else and they skip genres and they go over, it kind of can be pop, it can be folksy, it can be a little bit of everything, but if you're gonna be country, have some country, have some twang, and like I don't know, I guess my problem is like I like country, but I'm not necessarily can't say I like all country or I'm a big country music fan. I'm pretty much R&B and rock and not a little bit of hip hop, so I can appreciate your rapping. But this song I just loved it, and Brian, who is your press agent, I've known him for years, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh yeah. And of course, I've interviewed John Schneider a million times because he worked, he's his rep, and it reminded me of my interviews with John because that came up so often, aspects of I Miss America. And then I heard the song and I literally got chills because I'm a kid from the 80s. Like, it was like that. I could ride my bike forever, and and knew the neighbors, and everybody waved at each other, and it just whether there was apple pie or whatever, like it was just different, and it wasn't that long ago. But
Yeah, it was a few years back. And for me, it came clear when my best friend's son, he was 15 years old. This is a couple months ago, and he DM'd me and said, "You know what? I wish I could have grown up when you and my dad grew up." And I was like, God, I wish everybody could have, because I grew up in the 80s. I'm a child of the 80s, and then high school in the 90s. And so, I'm showing my age there, but I'm so dang lucky because, yeah, we go out in the middle of the desert, ride our bikes miles away from home. Not even a worry. Never even had any concern. My mom was like, well, you were with your buddies, and if something happened, then somebody found a way back, and we take care of you. And it was just a totally different time. Now we're afraid to send our kids just to the end of the block on a bike by themselves.
oh, absolutely.
Let alone all the influences they're getting in the school system, from the media, from their friends, from other parents, and it's just kind of a weird time to be thinking of that. And so yeah, it's a totally different day and age. But to hear somebody from this new generation, from the Gen Zers, who's like, man, I wish I wasn't Gen Z. I wish I was more X or Y. It really made you think of even they're starting to realize that they have a little tough road ahead of them.
Hey, I like to play video games with my kids are all adults. I like to play video games with them, but give me my Atari back. I'm fine with that. Like, if that's what it takes, like, take away my cell phone. Like, give me the cord that you had to buy the 100-foot cord so you could make it to the kitchen. Like,
Spiral,
yeah, I mean, do what the rotary dial, whatever it takes. Yeah, what I loved about the music video also is I, being again an 80s kid, I loved Victoria Jackson. I always thought she was so funny because she's so endearing, but she can say anything and make it funny. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's in there. And then you have actress Kelsey Cook, and you have TikTok star Chris Guerrera, and like and then I have to know. So I'm assuming the photo that you put on the table at the end, is that your dad?
That is my dad. Yeah,
It looks like you. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
I thought it was you for a
Right.
second. Oh my gosh.
We are passing the genes along for sure, because I look like my dad all the time, and my son gets that he looks like me. So no mailmen involved in our family, I'll put it that way. And so we by the way, but yeah, Victoria, I mean, she will have incisions about it. She talks about her battle with cancer and cracks you up the whole time. You're like, wait a second, you're talking about having cancer and her battle with it, and yet you're laughing hysterically because everything she says is so dang funny. And yeah, Kelsey, Chris, masters of the craft. Even Jeff Bowen in there, he was just he played the older brother, and he was absolutely hysterical as well. So we put a satirical and fun take on a very serious subject. We know it's serious. We could have gone full blast serious and real somber faces and stoic approach, but no, we want to. We know people don't need to have it heavy all the time, so we made sure that we put a fun take on it. We hope everybody likes the video and does find the message in there endearing to everybody, no matter what you think.
Well, and that's what's great about it is, although there is a lot of stuff in there that I grab onto, like, because of my faith and my belief system. I'm like, like that I like that was part of like the upbringing I had, but then I thought it was great because it's funny. Of course, the people that are acting it out, that's so funny itself. But I love that it didn't swing far left, didn't swing far right. It just said, let's all knock it off. Let's all just start, appreciating each other, appreciate our country and our freedom, and maybe get some, background on how America became America. I love, because I love the different things that it brings out when you watch it. I've watched it a few times, and like each time I'm like, yes, because that reminds me of this. And one of the things that I saw that was in your press release was some of the writing. Speaking of John Schneider, you wrote a song that he ended up singing. I saw that in is that the Can I Buy You a Beer?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was Buy You a Beer from John, and man, that
And
was so cool. He was my childhood idol growing up at Dukes of Hazzard and
my
Wimbledon Soccer and
son, yeah, my
Busch
son
Gardens,
lives for
and
John Schneider. Yep.
oh man. So when I heard that he was recording a couple of my songs, I just was like, okay, that's it. I'm full circle in the industry. No matter what happens, everything is gone. You know, that's just awesome. And I was glad he was back putting out music, and then to have mine part of it. He even put on a T-shirt for when he was doing his tour. He put that dang title on a T-shirt, so I got to go into his show wearing a T-shirt with "Can I buy you a beer" on the shirt. It was absolutely just like, oh man, one of those just cool moments, and you know, it doesn't happen to everybody, and I was so grateful that it happened to me. And you know, it's also this the fact that it was military tribute too, and actually,
Yeah.
it was a first responder tribute as well as military. But anybody with those stripes on their shirt, wearing that flag on their sleeve, that one was for you. And I still play it myself out, and super proud of what John did with that song.
And John's very he's very passionate. I have to steer the conversation sometimes when I interview him because he
You
gets
don't say.
he's oh yeah, he's so passionate, and we'll say we set aside 20 minutes and 45 minutes later here we are. But I love talking to him, but he's so passionate, and he just wants you to hear it, like just get it, like if we just did this. And I love.
Yeah.
And then you wrote Kid Rock with Kid Rock on his We the People, which
Yeah.
now how John has his Boa Extravaganza, or he had been having that every year where he jumps a General Lee and all that, and Kid Rock's
Yeah.
one of his friends, so he had him show up, so they had a huge sea of people. So but I saw
Did you go down there? Did you watch that?
I
Did you
didn't.
attend
No,
it?
I didn't. I
Oh man.
wish I wish I had now. Definitely not knowing. Kid Rock showed up at a concert I went to. We went to Goo Goo Dolls. And
Okay.
Sugar Ray was opening up, and then Sugar Ray had everybody together, and he said, anybody here can rap? He said, come up here and show me. And he had a couple people come up there, and he said, wait a minute. He said, my buddy's from this area, and he says he can outdo all of you, and all you hear is, my name is Kid. And then,
Oh
yeah, everybody
man.
lost their minds. So that was a really
Ah,
good night. Kid Rock, then Sugar Ray,
that's
then,
awesome.
Goo Goo Dolls. But you've written with Sam Hunt, for Sam Hunt, and Swan Brothers. Oh my gosh, I loved them. I
Yeah.
was a fan of theirs, voted for them. I was so happy for them to start putting out music, and like I said, I'm a country fan depending on. I think it's just the talent. Like it's more. I'm more scrutinizing about the talent aspect of it, but I
Sure.
love them and Sam Hunt. Like, those are some that I really do like a lot. Um,
Yeah, I mean it was cool being we all kind of rose up together and got a lot of songs, especially with Sam. Got a bunch with him, bunch with Hardy, like a crazy amount with Hardy, and Swan Brothers wrote a couple, and we're just trying to, like I said, they're all such amazing songs, and hoping to make the airwaves one of these days. But just collaborating, recording, doing all the tracks with those guys, it's just really cool to look back and be able to have those moments with them.
and you have a couple of books. Now you know Nashville and Secret Nashville. And you've
Yeah.
been on, speaking of Nashville, you've been on Nashville.
Oh yeah.
That's,
Well, yeah, that was I played an extra a couple times, but I was my confirmed role was the sound guy at the Beverly Bar, where Deacon was opening his bar with Mark Colley, and Kelsey Ballerini played there, and a couple other people, and I got to be the sound guy, so I had this whole dark backstory about the sound guy, and it was pretty fun. But just too, I love TV sets, and I don't want to be an actor. I don't want to be a Shakespearean actor whatsoever. But I love being on set and experiencing what's going on, and just the electricness of it, and having people perform in that little bubble, and then seeing how it all comes out later on the screen is just really fascinating to me. So speaking of that, it was really cool to see the video too. How much material we shot with those comedy geniuses, with Victoria, with Chris and Kelsey, and everybody just laying down their best improvs and doing so much. There are like 15 more videos we could make with the stuff that ended up on the floor. So I just love that process, and then whittling it down to the best product we can make after that.
And I think everybody, I know this is what I did. I think everybody that watches this video can go, yep, that's my cousin so and so, or yep, that's my daughter, or that's my mom, that's grandpa, or whoever. Like you can, if you have a relative, if not, it's a family representation of several different sides, but they're all here, they're all at one table, which is lovely. They're all at one table having dinner together, which is a lost art, unless you're scarfing down takeout, I guess. But that's a lost art. Just that aspect of your video, just having family dinners and sharing about your day and that connection. So much of that, I think a lot of this is my personal view. I think a lot of the problems that's not just wrong with America, but with the world is the breakdown of the family unit in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
huge.
many stats about that, and how kids end up in single parent households, and sometimes that can't be helped, but other times it can. And so it's something to think about for a lot of single parents out there, or parents who are thinking about becoming single. That's the way to think about it. Think about your kids and get them through all the challenges they need to get through. Yeah, the dinner table was the big part of the story. When we figured that out on the storyline, then it all pieced together, because we all have those relatives. We all have the kooky uncle and the crazy big brother, and the hippie sisters, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we put labels on whatever we want to, but everybody kind of thinks different, but we can all sit around that table. We are all Americans sitting around that table, and that's the big thing to take from it. I like to put it as like a Venn diagram. You have your friends
Right.
on the far left and far right,
Exactly.
and that's what we're getting daily. That's the headlines we get fed, because we're like shocked. Oh my God, can you believe they all say that? We think the all is everybody in that particular party that they're telling us, but it's not. The everybody in the middle is very, very normal and wants the best for this country, very open-minded, and most of the time able to talk, but we get so much crap. That's probably what Don talks about a lot, is all the BS that we get fed day in and day out that's not applicable to our normal lives. We need to get past that. We need to see through that. We need to start talking more so that we can help filter out all that stuff and reset ourselves to a more productive country.
And we don't have to understand to be understanding, because you're not going to understand everybody, but you can be understanding as a person, and kind and compassionate, and it's not complicit, it's not complicity of, thinking that, or, saying, they're right or they're wrong for their attitude. Sometimes you just don't even understand it. And sometimes people just fear what they don't even understand, so they'd rather throw rocks at it. I put a thing on my Facebook yesterday. I saw this quote, and it says, and you can throw rocks, you can jump over them, it had all these things with rocks, and it says, or you can build with them, and that's what we have to do. I will say that one of all the notes that I had about interviewing you, one of mine was the flag on the TV at the end of your video. I remember when that was, people that are younger won't remember that, but like at the end of the broadcast, when the TV was going on for the night, you could, on some stations, that's what you saw. You saw, and some had the song, it had God Bless America, or, playing, and then that, that was it. It was the station, then the TV was off. Like,
and you wake up to that, you'd be taking your nap after Saturday Night Live, watching Victoria or something, and then
exactly,
all of a sudden you fall asleep, and then the anthem's coming on, you're like, oh crap, I fell asleep, and those were the days. But nobody's gonna get that anymore. That's kind of a throwback. It's tough to say it's tough to say we just miss a certain era, or the 80s or 90s, that certain thing. I think that's just part of it. Everybody who was there and in that demographic can totally relate and say, things were simpler, and we were respected. People overseas feared us. We were not to be messed with. Nowadays, we're a laughing stock. Everybody looks at us as, we can take them. We're not too worried about them anymore because we have no backbone. So that's the part that's coming through. We want to bring back the respect that the whole world should say America is not to be messed with anymore. And that part is getting me, especially being a military brat. We're missing out on that perception And so that needs to be a definite priority worldwide for us to figure out.
Yeah, and like your song says, freedom is not free, and the people who bled and died, or like Martin Luther King marched and was not only assassinated but was attacked constantly. You know, there's so many people who fought to get where we are. You see the pendulum from the 60s to now. It's just swung so far in the other direction. It's like, hard to get it back to center, get us all back at the table, like, like in the video. But that I'm an optimist. I think we can get there, and it's just a matter of things. I love that people like you were putting things out there that stands up for the values. You don't have to. You can put a light. You can put a light in someone's path without shining it in their eyes. Like, you don't have to blind somebody with your views. You can just simply.
You have so many cool little phrases. I need to write these down. I need to do some coffee table book. I love them. That's
there
great.
You go. Well.
Yeah, it's not a lost cause, and that it's again a movement. It's a mantra.
So if anybody wants to find out more about you or the music video, all of that, do you have a website for them to go to? Obviously, social media, they can find you. I found you super easy, Mason Douglas. But you have a website, other information like that?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Mason Douglas always pops up pretty close to the top, especially if you put music on there, then that's always number one in all the results. So easy to find me. Add your socials on there, Instagram, and hear me yap on Twitter every now and then. But yeah, imissamerica.com is the main website. And that's where you can see the video, you can share it, comment. That's what we need most of is sharing and commenting. If any of the listeners out there can throw that on their pages or like it, or even bad comments, we want to hear what you're thinking. That's the beauty of it there. So get on, do that there. If you dig the message, then there's a newsletter that we're putting out on the website that just kind of covers just a place where freedom-loving Americans can come together. We share inspirational stories, family, community, military. And we also have I Miss America on some shirts and caps. Proceeds from those are going to partially go to the Combat Control Foundation. That's what it is, Combat Control Foundation, which is kind of a special ops of the Air Force. I'm an Air Force brat myself, and so I love aiming at that. So we're bringing the military into those proceeds. But we want anybody who's wearing that hat or shirt, and they happen to see somebody else wearing it, they should know, okay, you're like-minded. You're not, it's not a major right or left thing. We can have a beer, we can converse, we can talk about making this place better again. So that is the whole point of wearing that logo on your shirt or your cap, and then being part of imissamerica.com.
Well, I'm getting mine because I love it, because you know what, I didn't even, when I watched the video, and like I said, I watched it several times, and then it hit me, Miss America the pageant. Like, it didn't hit me until afterwards. I was like, play on words, I should get that. But I didn't actually. I really was just just really intently watching the video. It was so both funny and, hey, great rapping. Like, I want to rapping or freestyle, however you want to call it. Like you were like, the cadence was fantastic. Like you did a great job.
Well, I got my confidence after the Kid Rock cut.
There you go. Like
writing that, we did that, and I came to Nashville for country music, and all of a sudden I've got a number one on rap, hip hop, rock, and multiple other charts there. But getting a number one in rap, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can rap now, sweet, and pretty funny. That's my satirical take on that. But
well, there's a lot of those converge, and one of the best things, like rock and rap, is in all these, they go well together. I cover Comic-Con every year, and last year I interviewed Daryl of Run DMC. He's the DMC of Run DMC.
Ooh,
and
awesome.
And I said, oh my gosh, Aerosmith, and like, they were big until Walk This Way with Aerosmith, and I said, then he just blew up off the map. And I said, at that time, we were like, wait a minute, like, you can't mix those. Yeah. And then now, like, it's the thing, it's so-and-so featuring so-and-so, like, it's people have realized that you can bring people across the aisle like that. I think that's what's great about it, is people who didn't think they liked country or rap or rock, and you do a song together like that, they're like, wait a minute, let me check that one out. So go to imissamerica.com. I am so excited about it. Watch the video, like it on YouTube, share it on your Facebook, Twitter, whatever your social media aspects are. And thank you so much, Mason. We're so glad you put the song out. It's fun. It has a great message, and I'm just loving the song. And again, not a sold out country fan, but I love this song and the video, and especially the message. And I wish all you the success in the world with this, and I hope the message spreads most of all. But just thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share your message and your music and your background with us.
Oh, thank you, Ginger. It's been awesome to talk to you and get to know you a little bit in our first interview here. So thank you for letting me come on and hang out with the song with you.